What is up, my bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today I have an absolute treat for you, and we're going to be going through a beginner's pike flexibility routine. The point of this routine is to be simple, quick, but also accessible at pretty much any level. This routine is designed for people who are kind of around the point where they're just about touching their toes, or maybe just getting past it, or are beginners in this kind of mobility flexibility space. Although I still think you could use this routine at an advanced level and still get some benefit from it. I'm going to quickly run through the exercises used now and the reasons behind it, and then at the end I'll kind of explain to you how it's set out and how you can apply it over the coming weeks. As with everything I mentioned today, and the full routine is in the description down below with links to everything and anything I could think of that would be useful for you. So make sure you go check it out. Firstly, we're going to start off this mobility routine with a brief warm-up. Nothing crazy, nothing extra, just 2 to 3 minutes getting the blood flowing. This is going to make our mobility and our range of motion better, but it's also going to make it a little bit safer. I wouldn't get overly complicated here. I usually do my mobility training at the end of my lower body sessions, so I'm already warmed up, but 2 to 3 minutes of jumping or skipping or the like will be plenty. I would recommend adding at the end of this warm-up some standing leg swings, just using a wall for assistance, moving through full flexion of the hip and then full extension, just to get those hamstrings and the hips in general warmed up, performing 10 to 15 reps per leg. After we've done that, we can move on to some soft tissue work, and what I'm going to recommend here is kick Laughlin's squat stick drill. For this drill, you're simply going to need a piece of wooden dowel. I literally just used a brush handle. I will put a link to the full video explaining this in the description down below if you want more details, but I'll run through it briefly here. You're just going to simply sit on a padded or comfortable surface in a kneeling position. You're going to put that stick right behind the knee, in between the calf and the hamstring, and you're going to literally just lean back onto it, using your hands to assist and go to a point of which you can kind of tolerate, because it is pretty painful. Once you're in here, this is going to give you a great soft tissue release for both the calf and the hamstring at the same time. All you're going to do now is, starting at the knee, over the period of about 3 minutes, you're simply going to pause and roll and move that stick all the way from the knee back down to the heel. It should be pretty painful, and you might find that some parts are more painful than others. In that case, I would stay on that area longer, but just move it down the calf and release some of that tension that can restrict that hamstring and forward flexion range of motion. After that, we're going to move on to something else that commonly restricts hamstring range of motion, and that is the sciatic nerve. So we're going to do some flossing or nerve gliding to loosen that up. To do this, we're going to start supine, so lying on the back. You're going to lift one leg, grab behind the knee with your hands, and then you're going to use your quad to extend the leg as far as possible. Once we're in this position, we're going to hold it there, and then we're going to alternate between flexing and pointing our toes. This is going to floss the sciatic nerve, and you may feel some tingling or some burning or some tugging, something that's a slightly different sensation to normal stretching, and that's not a bad thing at all. We're going to perform 15 reps alternating between pointing and flexing the foot on each side. And that's basically our warm-up for the stretching covered. Now we're going to move into a PNF pair for the calf and the hamstring. The first exercise is an elevated calf PNF. For this, you're simply going to need a surface of which you can elevate your leg so that you can let that heel drop and get a little bit more range of motion. Place the edge of the surface on the ball of your feet, and you're going to drop that leg down as far as your range of motion will allow. Once you get into this position, you're going to load up that leg a little bit more, and then we're going to perform some PNF. So to do this, you're going to press the ball of your feet into the surface that you are stretching it on. When we do this, we do not want our heel to move. We simply want to stay in place, but we're trying to contract that calf. We're going to start with about a 40% contraction, and we're going to hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. Over that 10 to 15 seconds, you're going to work up and slowly make that contraction harder and harder until it gets to about 80%. When you're about 10 to 15 seconds or generally get bored, you can let out a breath, so a relaxation, breathe out, and then you're going to sink deeper into that stretch. That is the most important thing when it comes to PNF. When you breathe out, when you relax, is to immediately try to sink deeper into the stretch. We're then going to relax for about 5 seconds, and we're going to repeat that PNF cycle, so 10 to 15 seconds contraction, 5 seconds relaxation for 3 to 4 reps per side. And that is the set done for the calf PNF. For the hamstring PNF, you're simply going to want a band, but equally you could use a piece of rope, a strap, or a belt to assist you. What you're going to do here is you're going to lie on your back, you're going to lift one leg up again, and you're going to strap that rope, band, whatever it is that you're using, around your foot, and you're going to pull yourself into a point of stretch. You're going to need quite a bit of tension on the band because we're going to be doing some PNF. We're going to use a similar PNF protocol to the first with a 10 to 15 second contraction and a 5 second relaxation. On that 10 to 15 second contraction, you're simply going to contract your hamstring without the leg moving into the band. You're going to contract hard starting at that 40%, and you're going to work up to 80% contraction over that 10 to 15 seconds. You're then going to breathe out and relax, but when you relax here, we're not just going to relax and go passive. What you're going to do is you're going to contract your quad and your hip flexor to pull your leg deeper into the stretch. So I want you to really think about pulling your leg towards your face, not only with your hands, but also with your quads and your hip flexors. You're going to hold that for 5 seconds, and then you're going to go straight back to that PNF contraction, and you're going to do that for 3 to 4 reps per leg per set. So that is the superset. You're going to rest minimally between the calf and the hamstring, and then maybe about 60 seconds between going back and repeating. You're going to perform that pairing for 2 sets. Then we move on to the final exercise, and probably my long time and all-time favorite when it comes to hamstring mobilizations, and that is the Jefferson curl. I've done a whole video about this before, so I'll link that down below. Essentially, a Jefferson curl is kind of a loaded hamstring stretch, and it just works wonders, and it can be done at pretty much all levels. 2 things I will mention with the Jefferson curl. Number 1 is I would not recommend using much weight here. I don't think, like some recommendations like Coach Summer and Gymnastics Bodies make about doing bodyweight Jefferson curls, I think that's ridiculous, and to be quite honest, dangerous. You're better off sticking to 5, 10, I rarely go past 20 kilos in weight, and then learning to use your own strength, so learning to use your muscles, like I mentioned with the hamstring, your quads and your hip flexors, to pull you deeper, as well as that external load. So in this particular demo, I'm just using 10 kilos, and that is, for me, enough resistance. All you're gonna do is you're gonna start in a standing position, holding the weight in your hands. You're then gonna curl from the top of your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae down, until you fully flex and reach the base of your spine. At this point, your hands should be over your head. You should be in the max range of pike that you can get into. This is when you want to be contracting your hip flexors and quads to try and pull you deeper for a brief second or 2 in that bottom position. You're then just going to reverse that range of motion using your hamstrings and glutes to pull you back out. And then you're going to repeat 10 repetitions of that Jefferson curl. And on the last repetition, you're going to pause for 10 to 30 seconds in that bottom position. And while you're paused in that bottom position, I want you to be active. I want you to be thinking about engaging those quads and hip flexors to pull you deeper. And that's basically it. You're going to perform that Jefferson curl for anywhere between 2 to 4 sets at the end of your session, and then retest your pike to see where it is at. I did see a significant improvement, even though I was doing this on a very cold English winter's day. In terms of how you would lay out this routine, you're going to run through that warm-up. So the warm-up, the leg kicks, kit Laughlin, stick drill, the sciatic nerve glides. You're just going to run through that once. You might want to do the sciatic nerve glides twice maybe. Then you're going to move on to that calf and hamstring PNF combination, and you're going to do that for 2 sets only. And then you're going to move on to the Jefferson curl, and you're going to perform that for 2 to 4 sets. And how I would do this is I would do this on a 4-week cycle. Week 1, you're going to start with 2 sets, week 2, 3 sets, week 3, 4 sets. And then on that 4th week, you can do a deload of 2 sets, and then test your hamstring mobility at the end. Some people may need to do that over a long period of time, so 6 to 8 weeks, and other people may need less time. Find out what works for you. But as I said, all of the links and everything is in the description down below, links to all the more information, the full routine, everything. And I will also put in there some links to other pike and flexibility routines I think are good online, because although this is my personal simple version of, I think there are a lot of good ones as well that you might want to chop and change and figure out what you enjoy doing. If you have any questions about today's video, about this routine, leave a comment down below, leave your opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts, join the conversation. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe button? Join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe. There's new videos every single week. Lastly, you could do me a huge favor and share this video. If you have somebody who wants to improve their hamstring flexibility, share this video with them, help somebody out, help the channel out. But that has been it for this week, guys. Have a strong and stretchy week. Peace.